This is from Jacob Lambert. He says, "Hi, David. Very quick question. Why is the word for God spelt differently in Greek in John 1:1 when the word God applies to Jesus? It's," and I think this isn't a real transliteration. You know, if you translate, you try to come up with the same, the same sounding letter in another language. It looks like he's just taking the letters and then going with the English letter that looks most similar, even though, this would be a theta, not an O. But we can figure out what you're saying. So looks like when the word God applies to Jesus, it's theos. That's what it would be. It's theos. But when God applies to the Father, when the word God applies to the Father, it's theon. Why is the spelling different? So, Anthony, you can obviously go into more depth on this, but I will just I have the technology. 1 second to pull up the Greek. And all right. So here you have John 1:1 in Greek, ladies and gentlemen. And so, let's just go through this. So, just reading verse 1, NRK, so that's in the beginning, NRK, and then you have ain, so that's just was, in the beginning, was, and then logos is the word, right? So we have lots of words that use derivatives of logos there. So in the beginning, NRK, ain was logos, the word. Kai, guys, if you want to learn Greek, start with the word kai. I think it's like 10%. Have you heard that, Anthony? Isn't it like 10% of words in the Greek New Testament are like kai? So you can learn like 10% of the Greek New Testament, something like this, like 9 or 10%. You can learn 9 or 10% of the Greek New Testament just by learning kai. Right there, it means and. And logos, so that's the word again. And the word, ain, again, was. So guys, keep in mind, you can read John 1:1 just by learning these few words here, because it repeats a lot of the same words. And the word was proston theon. So, and the word was with God. So that's the objection that Jacob Lambert is saying. God there. So the word was with God. So there, clearly referring to God, and uses and has an on there, or an omicron nu there, right? Theon, kai, so that's and this they kind of flip it, which you can do because the subject is identified by the you've got logos there. So and theos, ain, logos. So logos is the subject there, and the word was ain again. So notice all you have to learn is ain, kai, logos, theos, and then you've got NRK, and then of course proston theon. So you can basically learn all the Greek here of John 1:1. So kai, theos, ain, logos. So that's the logos there is the word, and then ain was, and then God. So now. So the claim here, Anthony, is, well, theos is the word used to say that the word was God. But then theon, right there, it ends with an N. So why are these two? Why is God different here? And I'll just give the basic rundown. We don't do this in English so much, Jacob, but these are just case endings depending on how a word is functioning in a Greek sentence, because they can put them in different orders, whereas we tend to stick with a certain order in English. In other words, we identify the subject and the predicate and so on by the order of the words. In Greek, they add endings to the words to show what they're doing in a sentence. And so, logos, that's a subject. And then if the word theos is going to serve a different role in a sentence, if it's the subject, then it would be theos. If it serves a different role, like the accusative or as part of a prepositional phrase, then it's going to take a different form. So that's not talking about different words for God there. That's just the same word for God being used in different ways in a Greek sentence. Anthony, that's about as good as I can do, having not taken Greek for the past 10 years. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's right. As you said, English word order determines subject, predicate, object of the sentence, that sort of thing. So all that's going on here, it's the same word. Nobody that knows Greek would ever say it's two different words. It's an inflected language. The case endings change depending on how the word's being used in the sentence. So in the second clause of John 1:1, when it says, so in the beginning was the Word, when it says, and the Word was with God, notice it's the word's the subject, God is the one he was with. So that's in the accusative form. The accusative means it's the object of the sentence, right? But then in the last clause of John 1:1, it says, kai theos ein halogos. So again, the logos is the subject of the sentence, but now the word theos isn't being used as an accusative, but as a predicate nominative is basically the idea, meaning it's stating something about the word. It's using another nominative, another word usually used for the subject, and it's stating something about him. And this is actually a special construction in Greek. You mentioned just by learning the word kai, a person would know at least 10% of the vocabulary of the New Testament. But of course, learning a language, and you know this, but I mean, I'm just saying it for the sake of others. Knowing a language goes well beyond just the vocabulary. It also involves things like syntax and other things related to the construction. So here, even the word kai, for example, can have different nuances. It can mean even in different contexts, not just and. But here, you have an unusual word order than you would normally expect. This is what's known as a preverbal predicate nominative, meaning that the predicate here is being stated before the verb. So, I mean, it doesn't say, and the Word was God. It literally says, and God was the Word, right? Or, and God the Word was. And God was the Word. Yeah, so the predicate nominative is before the verb, and that's significant in Greek. And I won't get into all of that, but just so the questioner knows, I mean, it just has to do with the rules of Greek. It's a different language than English. But the two words there that you see, the two forms, are just the same word. It's just because they're being used differently in the sentence, as far as not differently in meaning, but different in grammatically, meaning they're functioning differently. One is subject, one is predicate nominative, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So Jacob, we do this in English with singular and plural. We'll change the form of the word or add an s. We'll change the word. But yeah, in not only Greek, Latin as well, and I'm sure many other languages. Yeah, they start changing the form of the word depending on what it's doing in a sentence. So hope that helps.